Hey friends, Firearms 101, thanks for tuning into the channel, and in today's video, I'm going to go ahead and clean and lube the slide of the Springfield XD 9mm Mod.2 Subcompact. Let's get into it. Okay guys, so this is part 2 of a part 3 series. If you didn't catch part 1, please make sure to go on my channel and do so. In this video, we're going to be using the same exact products, some Hops gun cleaner, some lubricant, got some weapon shield here. We're going to be using some cleaning patches, and the only thing different in this video, I'll be using, instead of a boar brush, I'm going to just simply be using a nylon brush. Next, we're going to go ahead and grab a dry patch with your nylon brush and start cleaning the slide. Doesn't matter where you want to start cleaning. You can go back to front, front to back. Just make sure you're really getting in all the areas, trying to remove all that loose fouling and debris. I really like to go in there with a dry patch first to keep the residue and fouling down to a minimum. What's nice about the nylon brushes is that your patch will easily stick to the bristles, making it fairly easy to maneuver. I like to take my nylon brush and use the smaller end of it and get a patch, and this end works really well for getting inside your rail area. It's almost perfect, fits in the groove nicely, so you're able to remove a lot of that fouling and debris that's kind of trapped in there. And then I'll go ahead and just get any of the smaller areas that need some attention. Now that a lot of the residue and fouling has been removed, I'll go ahead in with a dry nylon brush and just start going over the slide area again, removing or loosening any more fouling or debris that still might be left on the slide. It's very important not to forget your breech face and extractor area. A lot of fouling can be trapped in this area, which, if it's not attended to, can definitely cause a malfunction to your firearm. Next, I'm going to go ahead and grab a patch with very little cleaner with my nylon brush and start cleaning the inside of the slide again. I don't put a lot of cleaner on my patch because it's just simply not a good idea to get the inside of your slide soaking wet, and it's absolutely just not necessary. A little bit of cleaner after the process that we've already gone through will surely pick up the rest of the debris and fouling that might be left in the slide. Just make sure that you're getting all the areas, your rail area, and that you're cleaning everything really well. Now, using the smaller end of my brush, I'll go ahead and put on the patch that does have some cleaner on it, and I'll go ahead and start cleaning the rail area. This is a very important area, obviously, to keep clean, but also a hard area to get a lot of the debris and fouling out. Like I said earlier in the video, this end works perfect for getting in those tight, small areas that the bigger end of the brush might not be able to get to. Now I'll go ahead and take a clean patch again with very little cleaner, almost none at all, to try to get into the breech face and extractor area. This area is very important to keep clean, very important not to get soaking wet, so that things are entering into your firing pin channel and getting gummed up. Make sure you're getting really good down into the extractor area. There's a lot of hidden fouling and debris that gets trapped down in there, and as you'll see, there it is. Next, I'll grab a clean dry patch and go over the slide, making sure that everything is nice and dry, hitting your rails, the back of the slide, the front of the slide. And in this process, you'll see, because you had used the cleaner, that you're probably going to be picking up some more fouling and some residue. Very, very important to do this to make sure that there's no cleaner left behind, and that everything is dry. Very important to get into the breech face and extractor area as well. Now we're going to go ahead and grab a patch with some cleaner on it and take your nylon brush and simply just start going over the recoil spring guide rod assembly. I like to make sure that I'm getting in between the coils, actually making contact with the guide rod itself, getting rid of any powders or residues. Just continue doing this. I like to rotate it, making sure that I'm getting it all nice and clean. Now take a clean rag and make sure that all the cleaner is wiped off and everything is nice and dry. Now I'll go ahead and grab a patch with some cleaner and start wiping down the outside of the slide. Just make sure you're covering all the surface area, just trying to remove any residue or powder that might be left behind. If you have a good set of sights on your firearm, the cleaner should not affect them at all. Now, I gotta tell you guys, I don't know about you, but I take pride in keeping my firearms clean. If I go to the range, I'm simply gonna come home and clean my firearm. It's not even a question. A clean firearm is a happy firearm, and why wouldn't you want to keep the most important tool in your bag working properly if a situation ever arises where you had to use it? Now I'll go ahead and take my rag and just simply wipe off all the cleaner and make sure everything is nice and dry. Next, we're going to go ahead and add some lubrication to the slide. You will need a Q-tip for this. I did forget to mention that at the beginning of the video. I have 1 drop of weapon shield on the tip of the Q-tip. I'm going to go ahead and apply it to both sides of the rail, and you might find yourself picking up a little bit of residue or powder that the oil simply might be loosening up. Then I like to go ahead and add a little lubrication to the inside of the slide area here. This is where the hood of the chamber area makes a lot of contact and there's a lot of wear and action. I also like to apply a little bit here in the whole area where the barrel also gets quite a bit of wear and tear. Now I'm going to go ahead and flip the Q-tip and just use the clean end and wipe off any excess lubrication. Now we're going to go ahead and add some lubrication to the recoil spring guide rod assembly. I have 1 drop of lubrication on the very tip of this patch, and I'm just going to go ahead and work up and down the spring, making sure I'm giving it a nice even coat. Again, guys, there's very, very little lubrication on this, and then I'm going to go ahead and take the rest of my patch, which is just nice and dry and clean, and wipe off any excess lubrication. Again, just leaving a very nice thin film. Next, I'm going to go ahead and apply a little lubrication to the outside of the slide. I have 1 drop of lubrication. I'm going to go ahead and just try to spread it out evenly, penetrating the surface area. I generally don't do this every time I go shooting. I might do this, after I shoot a certain firearm 5 or 6 times. A lot of it could depend on your climate, your holster, if you sweat a lot, if you don't have a sweat guard, if you're keeping it in storage for some time and don't plan on using it, it's something you might want to do every few months. It's not a bad idea. And again, it's not a heavy film. It's barely anything at all, just kind of adding some added protection, and most certainly not causing any problems with gripping it as far as being able to rack your slide and whatnot. And then we're going to go ahead and just give it a good wipe down. Alright guys, so we're all finished up. We're going to go ahead and just reassemble the slide here. Please remember to stay tuned for video 3 coming up here soon. I'm going to go ahead and clean and lube the frame. Thanks for watching. It's much appreciated. I hope this information was useful and helpful. Please remember to subscribe, like, and share, and please leave any comments below. I would love to hear from you. Remember, friends, be safe, train often, and I'll see you at the range.